Hello, everyone, and thanks for having us for this Golden Sun 2 Randomizer boss blackout. So, I'm Neo Matone. I'm joined by Zadeta. And, and sadly, we only got 4 names for the 8 characters of the game, so I will have to choose 4 other names to add. So unless someone last second adds like 3 more names to the chat, I will choose everything. But it's okay. So as I saw, we have the first name, which is Free. I will give Fritz Jenna, because those are names. And I think I made a mistake because I used a setting. I forgot to set a setting, so it will be fun. Save for Sheba. Let's give. Well,
got blue in the chat.
We got blue, so let's give blue to Pierce.
Oh, and then DW came in with a Bobby.
And I kept one of the names that were chosen for the second character we'll get on the game. I picked quickly at the seed to know who it was, so that way I know that the second character will be Garrett, so we will give him the one name that people tried to kill earlier. Let's name him Sid. We have Ben, and do we get the last one? Last second one? Anyone? No one. So let's go with no one. And we are ready to go. We will have a boss blackout, which means we have 25 objectives. We will need to go through those 25 objectives, but each time I will defeat a boss on the game, I will get a free square right for me to choose instantly. I made a mistake in the settings, so I hope I will find a certain synergy, or I could end up being in a bad position. But let's go in 3, 2, 1, go. So we start with 2 characters in the randomizer and a few items. The first thing I will do is a bit of menuing just to get the game in the state I want. Fast text, so things go fast, and well, we start the game basically after the end of the first game, and well, the items are all over the place. As is in a randomizer, but we have quite a few set of settings. The first one that we will be using here is the weapons that have, well, all equipment are randomized stats, so I'll be looking around to get good equipment and weapons. So here in shops, I can take a look at the stats of the different equipment. Sadly, nothing really good. The good weapon was cursed. And now I go for some attack bonus and nothing of real value. So let's continue and go straight to the game. So Golden 2, mostly a one-of-a-kind RPG where we have a good combination of puzzles and fight and adventure. So the randomizer removed all synergies from the classes, well, all useful synergy from the classes. So we need to find all of the synergies to advance in the game and get whatever location we want to explore and everything. And right now I use the first quality of life we have on the game, which is using return on the world map, teleport me around, and using it myself got me to that specific location where I could fight a Djinn. Djinns are the way to up the classes in the game, getting more and more powerful.
Yeah, there's generally three different ways to start this. This is the more common one. Go down here, get a Djinn, get a bunch of checks. The other two are going to a dungeon called Treasure Isle, which has a lot of checks in it. Ooh, hello, Blaze.
Let's go with this one, please.
There's a lot of checks in it, but they are less likely to have progression on them. We sort of devalue them a little bit because there is so many. And the other one is to go towards one of the other continents and start there. And one of the things that you'll be seeing Neo do a bunch, which he just did twice there, is something called a retreat glitch. The retreat glitch, we have a little quality of life thing. Normally the retreat glitch happens whenever Felix has... we're finding lots of stuff. Whenever Felix has 5 or less PP, if you try to retreat, which costs 6 PP, it will fail, and then there's a glitch where it will, in quick terms, it'll try to put you back on the map that you were at the very beginning, and then you'll be able to interact with stuff there. We allow that to just easily be triggered, so then we can do stuff like pick up items that aren't normally in pots to pick those up.
And
And
here
we're gonna see that
another
a lot.
used of me to walk on that wall and to get through doors that get me somewhere else. So by doing that around multiple doors, I can quickly move around the dungeon, and going through that door will be quite visual because I get put outside of fall down.
Invisible Felix for a moment there.
Yeah. Now I should start looking at the objectives. Because lots of the objective depend on what we can do and find. Here I took that shirt because it's a quick equipment and it takes basically no slots while giving stats. Did not get anything of value yet here, but I have still quite a lot of location can find stuff in.
Yep, the only synergy that we have picked up so far, which is Blaze, isn't really super useful on its own, really. Neither is Lift, actually,
Yeah.
but it's good to have.
Those two goes well together further down in the game.
And Nether is
Do
Catch.
I need it? I don't see the
Nope.
objective for it.
There is
It's
a single objective that we have that can be put on the bingo board, which that is
What?
the Synergy Catch, where you can get an apple.
Yeah.
Have that here.
It's the only objective that is not random, the only object that is not randomized in any of the settings we have so far. So for now, I will mostly go through different locations, unlocking some warp points to go back to locations later, and try to maximize the number of items I can get. If I wanted to get the maximum number, I would go to Treasure Isle, as we said earlier, that has 12 items, but not a lot of them are actual progression, because 12 items, it got weighted so that it's reduced. Here I used another retreat glitch to get an item that I should get later. And with that, I will go through more retreat glitches in that location, and I will see a few items I can't get yet, or I could use glitches to get. But that first one does not really matter. I could get it with a glitch, I won't get it at all. It's consumable and not really useful. And here, with the retreat glitch, I get put back where I come from, allowing me to go back once again in the room, and this time, if I want, I can get the item the normal way. Grab it. That's still money. Okay. So looking at the board and what we may have to do, I see quite a few objectives that are kind of endgame, but nothing terrible.
Got time for a quick donation?
And yes.
We have a $10 donation from Danny. It says, having a blast here at the marathon. Thanks so much for everyone that's been a part of it so far. Put this towards letting the Golden Sun runner choose which square they'd like to force in their run. Can't talk this morning. And what square was forced?
Be this one
if
right
I
here.
choose, it's going to Veil.
Good
Which
stuff.
make use of a few glitches. Well, one glitch to go to a location, to a part of the map that exists but is not used in the game, which is the full map of the first game.
We can talk a little bit about like what is on the board here. As you know, this is a section of the game where we generally just run around, tag a bunch of stuff that we can teleport to later, like Neo had mentioned, as we have that. Stop one, we got a Beastman, which he is going to, I think, go around and talk to now.
Yeah.
Apparently that one has dialogue input. So that was a Beastman. This is a... Oh, go ahead. That one is a Beastman. This is a village of werewolves. That's a Beastman there. Yeah, Dwarf and a Proxian. Dwarf is in Loho. Proxian is in Prox, so we'll hopefully get to those later. The Ranger is a type of class. If we just get enough Jinn, then we can change someone to be that. Enter Poseidon's room. We either need a synergy called Grind, or we need the Trident, and then with the Trident we can actually beat Poseidon, and then we can also do all three. We really hope that we just get Grind. I imagine Neo will probably do a glitch to do it. Oh, actually, you can't even do it the other way with the glitch, can you?
I can do it with the glitch.
Oh, yes, you can. Yeah, you can do it with the glitch the other way. So, Neo might opt to do that instead of fighting Poseidon, but we'll find out. These two in the bottom left, they actually both require a synergy called Lash. So I hope we'll find that. And we saw earlier that Lash gives us another synergy called Scoop. So that'll be a good find. Get both Jin and Contigo. That requires Scoop for one of them, and another synergy called Force. Shaman Village Cave Jin. That requires 3 different synergy. We have one of those already. Vanilla Mints. That'll be relatively easy as long as we find the synergy Cyclone. We have a couple of befriend Jin here as we push Miss Penguin to safety. Let's see what we get out of
just
here.
before I open the menu and wait for a certain amount of time, that allowed me to just jump from rock to rock without having to wait for their cycle. Because opening the menu just stopped their timings for a few seconds.
Yep. We need the growth synergy. We need the reveal and an item. Reveal synergy and an item. We're gonna go take a nap at a couple of different places. 3 different handle ladders. Scoop will essentially solve that. We can also get Cyclone. See what we get here. Oh, just some boots. Hint NPCs. In this game, there are a couple of different NPCs that are considered like masters or leaders of their town, and each of those provides a hint. I didn't see you didn't go talk to Maha, did you?
No, I don't have reveals, so I could not.
Right, yep. So Maha in that Beastman area would be an example of that. Another thing that requires Scoop and a bunch of other synergy. This one will be fun. This is find a specific item to turn into a different type of class. We need to find Sheba, the character. Daedalus or Moloch, we won't generally see too much combat in this except for bosses, but we have summons, and you can find different summons on top of the ones that you normally get. Daedalus and Moloch are 2 of those. So try to find one of those. There's a cave in Gondwan Cliffs, which is a dungeon, mini dungeon, which requires Whirlwind. Require Burst to climb on top of one of the dungeons, and then we have a fun one where in this area that Neo is actually in, there's an enemy called a Mamanga. So we just need to find one of those, and then there's one in another part of the overworld that will be a different higher level Mamanga, so he needs to beat both of those. I don't know about Neo, but generally when a seed starts, I kind of look at this and be like, yep, this is a terrible thing to do, so I'm definitely going to use a boss on this.
For now, I'm mostly going around location, unlocking some warp points, getting a few items, and using glitches around to get some items a bit before I should be able to.
Oh, actually, we have Vine.
We have Vine? Oh, right, we have Vine. We have one objective though. And right now I'm routing the shops that I can find so I can hope get some better weapons and items, but that's not really helping me for now.
Saw him do it in an earlier time and saw him do it there to get that Jin. There are generally two applications of the retreat glitch. He's going to turn off a void here. There are Jin on the overworld, like he got the very first one that he battled. He's going to do one here as well. There are generally two applications of the retreat glitch. One of them is to go through a door to pop out of a different door that it doesn't normally take you to. The other one is when you do the retreat glitch and then you save and quit and then reload the save file, it will put you back on that original map with your current coordinates on your current map. So we'll do things like put you out of bounds, or put you, like what we saw just earlier there, is put you in an area that's that you might have access to something else. Well, that's fun.
Mark that key item, and we will use Mikasala for basically the biggest warp on the game. So the first thing I will do is, like when I went inside Garo earlier, I'm pressing a combination of buttons that warp me to the sanctum of the last town I visited, here, Mikasala. We call that a sanctum warp. It's in the base game. It allows you to exit from locked location and stuff. And here I will do a retreat glitch in that location and save. And resetting, and as the data said, now I will show up inside of the sanctum map, but out of bounds, and if I go straight down, I'm in another town together, allowing me to get a quick warp point in one of the further town to access. So I can use it for later. But now, can't. To the beginning. And when we warp the ship, the bot we use, warp with us in the closest location, it can be from our warp point, which allows us to move around without having to go back, get the boat, and everything. That way we can just go into town, do stuff, go warp to another town. And here in Kibombo, I will do two saves, one for a glitch later, and one to use right now for a Sanctum Warp. Because that Sanctum Warp allows me to skip Synergy and get access to that check here. Oh, I can see that Gabamba has stuff.
We've found lots of stuff, but haven't actually gotten anything yet. So this is good. Yeah, the when you was talking about the boat and that's teleporting around, normally in the vanilla game, you would have to go through a certain part of the main story to unlock the boat. For lots of quality of life reasons, we just start with the boat generally whenever we're doing stuff, and then you can kind of see them on the overworld, but we're also starting with what's called the Wings of Animos. That will allow us to fly with the boat when we get the Synergy hover, which is a really good synergy for the overworld. Help us travel around a lot faster.
So right now I went from the back of this location, allowing me to pick items that are behind the synergy, which is Lash. But there was nothing of value. But that first item here will be relevant later. Normally we start with that item, but
Yeah. Gonna just dog down here. It's generally faster if he wants to pop out the bomb side and just get caught by these guards here.
if I wanted to, I could go and grab the gene that was on the first screen we entered from, but right now I'm still trying to find items, progression, so just a gene is not really...
For this this category that we're doing here with boss blackout, defeating most any boss will allow us Neo to choose a square to satisfy that square instead of actually doing the objective. The only boss that we don't do a space for, his name is Briggs, with a couple of his henchmen. Because he's essentially available right at the beginning. But otherwise, items like that one that Neo just picked up, the Shaman's Rod, on top of like finding synergy like Whirlwind, they will unlock other bosses and we'll be able to do more. Looks like we're going to go on a little sailing trip here, and we're going to go to, I think, the very last 2 locations for Sphere Zero stuff, right?
Yeah, I'll just be doing a small detour before to get one item out of logic and check a few more weapons in the shop, because I'm really hoping to find better stuff. Oh. That is better indeed. That... worth it. So I've got bit better stats for my attack, and here by using a retreat glitch I get one... Oh, first big summon.
Yeah, that's our first big summon, and Azul normally is pretty good, but when it costs 7, the base game, each of these different summon outside of the normal ones that you can find, they have a combination of 2 different Jin types to summon them, and we randomize those as well, so you can get some like really nice combinations, and then sometimes you get one where it takes just 1 and it takes a lot of them, like that one. So probably won't be using Azul, but we'll find out if we find a bunch of Mercury.
Right now I'm hoping that a mistake I did while generating the seed won't hurt me, because I forgot to set a flag on, and
Ooh, which flag was that?
forced the maze.
Okay.
So the next location I will be going is Gaia Rock. Inside of it is a maze that normally require you to use growth inside of it to go around and find your way.
Oh, okay.
But
Treasure Isle flush with stuff. So that fluffy looking fellow there they just picked up, that was Moloch. We got a little turtle there as well. That was the Moloch summon. Generally, like, it can be really good in certain situations, but generally not super powerful. But good find there. And then he found 2 other things there. One of them is the trident, which is not really what you want to see early on for what you find, but we'll see when you need it, because it allows him to beat Poseidon. 4 bosses on top of all the synergy that it requires to get you for randomizing the items around. We do set a certain number of Jinn and characters to find. To do it for Poseidon, it will be 4 characters, so you're not going to be required to go beat Poseidon with just 2 characters, which would be really hard. Speaking of characters... Oh.
Well,
Neo's going to do a fun little trick here. Where if you unsand as you move on top of this pillar, Felix will kind of just get over and you can climb on the ladder behind it. Yeah, it's a fun little trick.
Yeah. And it allows me to go grab 1 gene before we are supposed to access it. Because genes can flee, I will often save before fighting a gene. Just so I avoid gene fleeing and me needing to exit the room and come back to the gene.
So that character, so we found our new character finally, and depending on what they had, their items and their synergy are shuffled around, and Piers, or Blue here, came with probably the synergy that you were least excited about finding early, which is Whirlwind. Whirlwind opens a ton of stuff. So now we just need to kind of run around and hope that we choose a good place to go to first. He's going to go to a dungeon called Ankle Ruins here, and a lot of the Whirlwind checks here are immediately available. They're really quick, and there's a lot of them.
Yes, I have some that will allow me to finish the dungeon, so I only have to come here once.
Yep.
Well, I have 1 item out of logic, but that's not really a big issue.
Yep. Some nice defense
No,
on those boots.
I'm mostly looking for weapon that gives more than 200 attack, so I could have an early time doing bosses, but those weapons are kind of rare. And most of the time, if you need to use up synergy twice in a row, it's faster to set it as a shortcut. So that's what I've been doing, so I can use move around this dungeon. And after that move, I will switch to sound, depending on...
Oh.
Well, I was going to say depending on if there is something here. So there is something here.
Yeah, the synergy that we saw is hover. So because we start with the Wings of Animos on the boat, hover allows us to... this game is kind of split up into 2 areas of the overworld. We have the Eastern Sea and we have the Western Sea. Hover with the Wings of Animos allows us to access the Western Sea half. That's really useful. And it actually also helps some of the overworld traversal, speeds up some of the travel to those areas.
I could bet that there is nothing more here and that hover is my progression, but we often see that leaving that location and then never coming back can be a bit of a pain.
Do you think you're still gonna go all the way to the top?
I think I will. Because I always got punished by the top of Uncle, which is the real final boss of that game. Because in that game we have 3 towers, well, small towers that are mini dungeons that we can climb, and on top of those 3 towers we have items. And for some strange reason with the geometry of the game, the item here on top of Anchor Ruins is really hard to get. You could be in any position and, well, you're looking at the item but you can't get it, and you try to get closer to it and your character will all of a sudden look to the right or to the left instead of looking at the item. Getting a consistent setup for that item is really bad.
It's really the only item in the game that almost requires a setup to get. Just moving around. This dungeon it's a really good dungeon. In the vanilla game, you have 2 sides of the dungeon. You'll go kind of push some faces around to open up sand areas to get through here. But with a nice glitch right at the end of the dungeon, we almost don't have to do any of one side of the dungeon. There are a couple of items on both sides, so we'll get each of those, but other than that. Looks like Neo is just going to the top here.
Yeah, I will go straight to the top.
This will be... Yeah.
Normally in that room we want to feel the statue, but we say hi to the statue and we just ignore it. And no, the shenanigans can happen.
Yeah, this is actually one of the more recent glitches that we found amongst all the other glitches. Normally, you cannot move this pillar like this, but when you retreat glitch and you can kind of move this stuff around, or this pillar around, what this allows us to do is to push it out of bounds right here, and then the way that the sand synergy works is normally on these sand areas you can go through. This pillar extends that area, so then you can sand through it and go out of bounds.
And because I'm in retreat glitch right now, I kind of want to lose that state. So I'm running around hoping for a fight that I just got. So I need to, once I will finish my fight, I will leave that retreat glitch state, which will allow me to go through transition and not be put back at the beginning of the dungeon. So with the setup here, get an out of bound door that get me straight to the end of the dungeon.
This is the only application of it in the... Oh, actually, no, there'll be a second one in Trial Road maybe, but you saw Neo moving diagonally there. For whatever reason, the way that they coded movement going up a sand waterfall, they didn't reduce your movement when you go on a diagonal. You keep both your right and your up movement, so you move faster zigzagging up a sand waterfall.
And now that we went to the end of the dungeon, we will go for the second half of it. And quickly check 3 more items before we leave that place.
Do you think you're gonna just continue on to Western Sea?
I'm kind of thinking about it because I don't want to go straight to Earth Rock.
There's out of all the dungeon in the randomizer, there are probably 2 that are so much longer to get all of the checks than other dungeons. One of them is Ayers Rock, which he has not full access to, sort of full access to, but it is one of the longer dungeons, so if we don't have to go there, we kind of want to avoid doing that. Oh, we found both of them. Look at that.
I will go straight to the Western Seas. That way I can talk to a dwarf, get my first hint NPC, and probably also show more of out-of-bound stuff.
You did have a check. You had a couple checks there that you could have done if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I'm leaving them for a bit later.
Oh, we're doing this check, are we?
Yeah, we're doing this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
In this location, we have one item that is behind a synergy called Cyclone, but by doing a retreat glitch in the location I was, I can kind of looks like I'm doing nothing. Right now I'm pressing down and just walking straight down from the retreat glitch location for around 30 seconds. And at the end of those 30 long seconds where nothing appears on screen, well, we will be able to get the item out of logic, and that's really good. Finally, I think I will go back to Magma Rock.
That's normally it's so not worth doing that glitch, but this is nice for us. We have an option on where normally to go through this dungeon you would have to like climb all the way up out on the outside and then go into the inside from the top. There's a pillar through that door excuse me, that Neo just passed through, or passed by that he'll go back into. There's a pillar in there that blocks reverse progression, and we've opened that up just to give a little bit of quality of life to going through this dungeon.
Just taking a peek at first item outside, so that I do I turn out the case. Oh.
That pillar that's in the lava there, that's the one that is normally blocking to be able to go to this door, and we've opened that up.
I'm using...
Okay. Wow.
Okay, so now I can do the Poseidon part without having issues.
Yep. So that was, you saw it pop up quick. Sometimes you have to really pay attention there, but he got the Synergy grind. The other Synergy that he picked up right at the, well, I guess maybe go back. The Synergy that we got out of the retreat glitch is called Burst. So that will help with one of the objectives on here. Where was it? It was this one right here. To burst the wall at the top of a similar tower to Ankle, so we can do that potentially when we get other Synergy to open up the tower. And then the first synergy that he found coming into here was called Mind Read. Mind Read is one of the synergies in the vanilla game that your base wind aligned character, Jupiter aligned character will just have, and it allows you to just interact with NPCs to read their minds. The added thing for here that we get is there are some trading quest items. We saw one earlier, which we can actually get now, that you have mind read and you have that item, and then you can go mind read an animal, and that animal will provide you another item. So we can do that now. And then the last one that he picked up on that summoning tablet was called Grind. There are a bunch of pillars in the game, and there are some other interactions with this too that now we can bypass those and get further. Grind was one of the other synergies other than hover to get this Western Sea access. But now we have both.
Got time for a quick donation?
Yes.
We have an $11.24 donation from Karan. It says, saving Dark Moon sanity by getting the amount back to even change. Smiley face.
Thank you. Right now what I'm doing is mostly going through the horror dungeon backward. I have 2 more checks I can do, and 2 gyms I can get, so go for those.
This first gin and this level of the dungeon that Neo will be getting, you have to fight to acquire it. The one at the very top that he'll be getting afterward will be similar. It's on the map, you interact with it. But it is... In this game, there's a section of the main story called the Reunion, where you would get... as you progress through the game, you end up getting 4 characters, and then at the Reunion, you actually get the 4 characters of the previous game, of the first game, and then you have 8 characters total. With the transfer of items and Jin and everything from the first game, you could bring over everything, but if you don't do that, there are 4 different locations that they provide essentially Jin from the first game, and they just provide them for free as long as you can get to them. So we're gonna go pick up one of those.
Right now I just got one of the best Venus Gene, which is Geode, that gives a huge amount of damage.
Yep. A lot of...
What?
No, go ahead. A lot of Jin that are attacking Jin, I think they either have additive or multiplicative damage. Geode is a multiplicative one, and it's the highest value one in the game. In general, especially in the vanilla game, you don't get the amount of attack damage for the multiplicative to do more damage. But with the randomizer, you could end up with a really strong weapon and it being more value then. That was everything that we could do here. And now Neo has lots of choices to go look at.
Way too many choices.
Yeah.
I think I will continue tagging a few locations just so I can move a bit faster after that.
We're gonna go into a place called Loho, which is on in this very top one up here. This will be our dwarf. This is a city of dwarfs, and this is the only location in Wayard that has them, apparently. So let's talk to one there.
almost forgot. I need to sleep in the inn here.
And that'll be for this bottom objective here. Each of these Western Sea towns we'll just take a little nap at.
So I need to sleep in the 4 inns in the Western Sea. I can go through 3 of them right now. I could go to the 4th one using a glitch, but I hope I don't have to.
Yeah. So Neo's heading over to the continent Angara, or not Angara, Hesperia.
Hesperia.
And this requires, there's 2 ways to get through this cave that he's in. The first one is just like he's doing here, which is with Whirlwind to climb up this ladder here. In this next room, there are some boulders on the ground. Lift, which he has, would be able to lift those up so he could pass underneath. And then that little water puddle there, if he had the Synergy Frost, which we know where it's at, he would also be able to get in here. So we're just going to pass through here. And I guess technically we can get everything in Shaman Village. He picked up an item earlier called the Shaman's Rod. So when you go into Shaman Village, you give this rod to a character called Moapa, and that will unlock some further areas, and it also allows you to fight him, and he is one of our bosses, but I would be really surprised if Neo tried to fight him here. I guess, what are you thinking, Neo? Are you going to do Trial Road and go to the hover check?
I'm actually...
Or actually, you can't. You need Reveal, I guess, as well. But
Well, I can't get the other item, but I could pick at it. So...
yeah.
But the good thing is that Moapa is not yet in Logic, because I need to have 4 characters for him to be in Logic. I only have 3 right now.
And
So
he is one of the harder bosses as well. If you don't have... Yeah.
Especially if we don't have good equipment. So...
Yep. We actually picked up a normally relatively useless Synergy, but it's actually something for a board. It was Force, so that will allow him to do one of the Jin and Contigo for this objective here. That's Moapa and his henchmen. They give them the rod.
For now I will follow them, but I won't be going up to the fight against them. Because to fight them we need to go through micro dungeon that is a trial road, but before that we can see that item on top, which is just coins, but could have been progression. But since it is nothing, I will just retreat from here and leave that place. We'll continue going around. I have a few more towns I can hit for having to go back to other location I already went to.
Are you headed to Hesperia Settlement? Is that where you're going
Yes.
next?
Yes, Hesperia Settlement, then Contigo.
There are, it's where we found Burst. He did an out of bounds glitch in Gondolin Settlement. That's where we got Burst. This one that he's going to, Hesperia Settlement, also has an out of bounds, but this is why he went to Kabambo and made save data there earlier. It modifies the out of bounds area a little bit, and it allows him to get to a ladder that would normally require the Synergy growth. And it also just is a kind of a long puzzle for one item and a Jin. So this is a little bit faster. So he'll retreat glitch, and then he'll load the Kabambo map data, and then he will come back into the Hesperi's settlement save that he made, and then he will be out of bounds.
And by going to... Sorry, I need to count. Here.
Nice.
So by going to Kibambo and doing a soft reset, not a hard reset, I keep the state of the memory as set by the last place I was. And Kibambo tend to put lots of garbage data inside of the memory, and out of bound we navigate through that garbage data. And using that, it gives us an unsure way to get to that door that allow me to get the item and the gene without doing the puzzle, and thus keeping one synergy.
Yep. And Neo mentioned counting. That is one of the few out of bounds where it's not a easy just go up or go down thing. He was actually navigating for a certain number of seconds, walk this way, then walk that way. A little bit tricky of an out of bound, but he did a good job of it. I'm gonna go down to the back of the boat here. See all these enemies on the screen. These form one of our other bosses called Aqua Hydra, which we essentially always have access to as well. In this version, that will be... oh, hello, Jenna. Jenna is a really good character. Unfortunately, she doesn't come with any items or synergy, so she just comes with Jin and is one of our characters, which now opens up Moapa, technically, but...
technically, but not in logic, because did not get her in logic.
Yeah. She is behind the synergy Frost, which we know is at Kabambo.
Don't have to get that gene in normal ways, so I will do a small retreat glitch once again. So one other use of the retreat glitch, when you get back to the first map you are, the NPCs and items are where the NPCs were on the map you left. So that guy that was in front of me I could have talked to became a gene that is hidden in this screen, allowing me to get it without the synergy required to find it.
This is Contigo here, which is the one of the spaces on our board here, but we need the synergy Scoop, which is behind Lash. And, okay, well, hopefully we don't have to do that. That was those 4 items that are on the ground. They are not interactable right now. That is... in the vanilla game, when you would go through the reunion phase and get your 4 characters, those 4 items are those 4 characters. Yeah. I didn't actually know that there was some...
Yeah, there is an interaction text for them now.
So yeah, it will require us to beat Jupiter Lighthouse, which mentioned earlier that Ayers Rock was one of the longer dungeons. Jupiter Lighthouse is the longest dungeon by far, and it requires a ton of stuff to actually get through it. It's a whole thing, so seeing any progression items on those reunion checks there, you kind of hope that you never have to do. One of them was the Sea Gods tier, which does this objective right here, this reach the top of the Shrine of the Sea God, so that kind of looks like maybe a good boss objective. This thing that Neo is doing here, when you kind of nudge up against land in a certain way on the boat, it allows you to hop off onto areas you normally wouldn't be able to hop off on. But with some just kind of like finagling, you can get in there.
Yeah. That allows us to clip through location we're not supposed to be able to leave the ship. Because we have over, we can unlock ourselves. If we did not have over, we would be, well, locked with the boat. When I want to fall. And I will do it again here. Hoping it's there.
This is really interesting. More closely watching somebody else do this, do a seed here, because they just have different options on like this side of the land that you can jump off on and do. For this one, we have lift, which is nice, so we can get a gin, and solving this puzzle normally takes a long time, but we can actually see the item from up here after we get the gin as well, which makes it a little bit faster if it's nothing. And I guess we'll suffer through this puzzle for something that might not matter. That item that we saw down there is we technically right now we have the trident. To normally get the trident in the vanilla game, you have to acquire the 3 prong pieces of the trident, and then a character, an NPC called Obaba, will forge those 3 pieces into the trident. We actually started with 1, I believe. So this will be our second prong piece, and once we get all 3, and we have the reveal synergy and a bunch of other stuff as well, we could turn in these trident pieces to get another item. Neo is moving around Jin here to change characters' classes. That'd be on Jenna.
I can't. I thought I had the correct characters, but I don't have the correct set of...
Oh, for
elements.
Cavalier and Enchanter.
Yeah, I can do Cavalier, but I can do Cavalier and Enchanter because it's the same.
One of the things that gets shuffled around in the randomizer for a lot of the options that we tend to use is we shuffle around the affinity that a character has for an elemental alignment. So what we're looking for Cavalier and Enchanter is we're looking for 2 certain types. 2 certain types and any combination of them, with a combination of 4 Jin total for both of them. And we just don't have the correct affinities with the Jin that we have. There's another one of our overworld Jin here. Oh, well, if we actually get it. It's not 100% that you will find the Jin in the battle, but it's a pretty high chance. Something with the Jin that we're fighting, as we progress and get more Jin, the Jin that we fight gradually gets stronger as well.
And I will go for the last clip I should be doing in the seed.
This will be at the dungeon called Tundaria Tower. continent down here, which is essentially Antarctica, is Tantari Tower. This is one of our objectives, but we can't get there yet with the full thing, but we can do this one check, which has nothing. It is actually a unique item, but it does nothing for us. What are we looking at for progression here? We went over to Western Sea, got nothing with hover, essentially, with the not within logic.
Oh, we got grind, so that
was behind.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it was behind just lift, so
Oh, yes, that's true.
can get that turtle. I have mind read also that is in logic, so that gets me quite a few checks. And at some point I will have to hope to find gross, because well, I don't want to have to randomly map the gross maze until I find my way.
Oh, right, because you renamed the characters.
And I forgot to set the flag to force
Yep.
the puzzle.
Oh, that's why you were talking about that earlier. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
one could be bad.
So some of the puzzles in this game, their layout and how you solve them is determined by Felix's name. There is an option to fix the puzzles to a certain solution, but that's the option that Neo is referring to that we forgot to set. So instead, speaking of the devil, we found growth. But because we changed the names for the incentives, thank you very much, the maze is randomized, and we don't know the solution. There are ways to like brute force the solution, but it's easier just to have growth and just find a way through.
I mean, we have, I think it's 14 rooms to go through with 3 different directions per room, so only one good solution. That makes quite a lot of possibilities.
Yep. Yeah, we found growth, which... Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Normally here we would have to go through a puzzle in the following room, but if I can get that pillar to move, we can just enter the room from the back and ignore the full puzzle.
And that was the last item in the dungeon that we just saw on the ground there, but there are 2 Jinn back here, one of them that we have to fight, and one of them is a free Jinn from the reunion from the first game. And that is why we tend to save before fighting a Jinn, because they, for some reason, the way they designed this game, they thought it was a good idea to allow these things to run away from you.
Yeah, I think it's 25% chances of them running away, but right now what I did a hard reset of the game that fixed the RNG for the first fight we do and allow us to attack before the Jinn can act. So it gives us a free turn to try and kill them. Have bad stats, but I still got my kill. Getting me quick Jinn.
So with this latest synergy that we got, we can do one of the objectives on the board. It doesn't really open up a whole lot on its own, but we've at least got the maze that we can go to now in Gaia Rock.
So now I will go to Gaia Rock. No, I will change my mind right now and first go to right south of here to the Turtle Island to give that small turtle I found to its friend and get access to one of the, well, super bosses of the game.
This is the among this like animal trading quest with mind read, which we'll do here, and then we'll give the turtle over to it, and then it will sail us to this part of the island. This normally is the end of that trading sequence, giving this little turtle.
Eh? That give me progression.
Yeah, that synergy that Neo just picked up was called teleport. Teleport is in the vanilla game, it's the very last synergy that you get to be able to go to the final boss of the game. These like little pads that you can kind of see to the north just a little bit up on the screen there. You go to one of those pads and then you can teleport across to them. For the randomizer here, it gives oh, okay, here. Neo's doing a fun little trick here where when you use the sand synergy, the way that this trick works is when you use the sand synergy, Felix kind of like rotates a little bit. When you hold a direction, when he's rotating like that, it starts a timer that interacts with the object that you're on, and these pillars go a direction just based on how they're coded. So when he goes over, we force this log to go a way that it normally wouldn't, and then it pops him out of bounds.
Okay, so I think now I can do Cavalier and Enchanter, and of course I go for the what's first? That, and that way I get the two classes, well, the three classes I needed to get, which were Cavalier, Enchanter, and Ranger. I'm still missing an item for the last class,
Which is
but
this
for
one here.
now, at least I should be good to go for a moment. I need to actually get some progression. The first thing I will do is go to Gaia Rock. Well, I will do the first item in Gaia Rock still. I thought about something else to do. Because I did not take into account that I have no teleport, and teleport gets me 2 dungeons access. So I will go to those 2 dungeons before, because I'm trying to go for my highest sphere.
what we see Neo doing here, unfortunately wasn't able to get. This is one of the harder ones because you only have a single try at it. Once you move that pillar into the location, it's locked there and you can't move it. But what he was trying to do was kind of like line up Felix to be where the pillar is going to move, and then he would just pop up onto it with the collision. But he can just go around, which is okay.
We will have other chances for that glitch to show up, so...
Yep.
Basically, if you can get Felix to be... well...
Very good find.
Yes.
That is the... I want to say... Tomigathericon. There are lots of ways to say this item, I think. But essentially, it's the equipable item that changes your class. And then he can get the Necrolite class, which is the last one that he was just talking about there.
Here we go. The class objectives are done. Basically, I only need genes for the gene objectives. I don't really care about my classes anymore.
Were you going to go to the maze?
No, I will keep the maze if I find a dancing idol or reveal.
Okay.
But first I will go back to Contingo where we have that teleport sigil on the ground, allowing us to get to... well,
And you do
let's say
have
hidden
sand as
dungeon.
well.
Yeah, sand. I have everything I need to go through. Ooh,
Very nice.
awesome.
Or are you going to go through this forward instead of backwards?
I can't go backwards from...
Oh, because you don't have reveal. Yeah.
I don't have reveal. But I can skip a puzzle.
This is the final optional dungeon of the game called Animos Inner Sanctum. Normally, that's after Neo had teleported and walked through that first door. Normally, in the vanilla game, it requires you to get all 72 Jinn before you can open it, but we just put it open with a setting, and then we can just walk in here and go through this dungeon you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah, it had a few. It had 3 more locations, and so far all 3. Well, the 2 I did were progression items, so that's good. Here, let's see if I get the. No. If I remove by pressing A, I can leave the sound state, and by pressing down at the same time, I can move a few pixels in. And normally I should not be able to be there. And I have a small puzzle to do, but by getting that sound glitch, well, kind of sound glitch, I can just skip one puzzle.
I honestly didn't even know you could do that there. So I learned something.
I hate that statue because I always forget which height I have to be able to move it. Normally we have to go around and do a full puzzle to get to the back of the statue and then open the hover rock, not hover, lift rock.
This is my least favorite puzzle in the game.
Yeah.
It's really not that difficult, but I really dislike it.
Yeah, you need to think in your... Oh, hello.
Nice.
Nobody and...
A little.
Oh,
Oh,
well.
there we go.
The dancing idol.
That was Isaac that we found there. So another character television Jin, and he came with an item called Dancing Idol. So what I just mentioned before he came here was that he was going to go through Gaia Rock if he found one of them, which I guess we actually don't have Cyclone yet.
Yeah,
but,
we still need Cyclone, but I will still check the genes he has, because could have some progression.
Yeah.
Well, not progression, but Fugue Sparta Quartz. It's not one of the genes I want, sadly. But because we got the milk, we can go and see another animal of the trading quest.
Yeah, for some reason, they made it a dog that you give the milk to instead of a cat. But, I guess dogs can like milk too.
Yeah. Normally the dog would give us the small turtle we gave to the other turtle. Ooh. And that is progression, that is the magma ball that allows us to access the last region of the game, which is the Northern Reaches, where we have the final dungeon.
Yep. That was what we lovingly call the meatball, because it kind of looks like a meatball. And he'll go here to the town of the dwarves and use this cannon without their approval.
Yeah.
And blow up this wall, which allows us to access 2 items in the gin back here.
I can't get the item because I don't have scoop, but I can pick at the item. Oh no.
Yeah, well.
But I can get the gene. I could have gotten the gene before, but don't really need it, right?
That item that we saw underneath the boulder that we don't have access to is called the Aquarius Stone. It unlocks a single item in one of the dungeons that we don't actually have access to yet, but we'll just keep it in mind. Oh, this is a fun little clip here. So normally you would have to get the Synergy Lash and go around and solve a really small puzzle to get this gin. But you can clip into this triangle on here and get onto here. And normally in the vanilla game, you can't use retreat in places like that, in towns. But with it being added, you can clip into there and then you're stuck in there. But then you can just retreat out. You could Sanctum Warp as well to get out, but just being able to retreat is really nice. Then we're going to sail through this area called Northern Reaches, and because we got the cannon, the dwarves put the cannon on our boat, and we have the meatball that we can shoot out of the cannon, and there's a ice block up here that we're going to blow through and be able to get to the last area of the world map, like Mia said. Very strong meatball.
Very spicy.
Very spicy meatball.
Time for some quick donations.
Yes.
All right, we got a $55 donation from Rax. It says, "Sad I wasn't able to make it this time, but so excited that it's going so well. Please put this towards finishing out the snail race for Soul Blazer. Thank you." And with that donation incentive has been met, so we will be seeing the snail race during the Soul Blazer run. Thank you so much for that generous donation. We also got a $40 donation from Dark Moon. It says, "Let's see the snails go. Gotta go fast."
Love it. Snails can go fast.
Snares and dancing grandmas, that's all that we want in Subblazer.
That gin that Neo just picked up was the... we have gotten all of them now. We was the last of all of the free gin from the first game that get carried over as like backup gin if you didn't transfer all the gin to this game. Selling our meatball.
Yeah, we used it. It was spicy, but too spicy for me. I can't handle it.
Don't forget that we are sleeping here as well.
I read before. Well, I'll keep that for later. Let's finish by sleeping in a nice bed.
That's a good idea. This is the last main story dungeon in the game called Mars Lighthouse. We don't really have any of the synergy that we need to get through here. We're really close. We're just missing one. But there is this one item on the outside that we can check, and that is called Parch that we got there, which is very nice to have depending on your viewpoint of certain dungeons. But this allows us to go all the way back down from the North Pole all the way down to the South Pole and go through Tundaria Tower now with it. Parch takes a little area of water and it parches it. It removes all of it. So then we can walk through here. And inside of this dungeon, we have Burst. So see what Neo does. Okay, he's just going to go straight to the left. And there's a wall over here that is normally blocked, but you can burst your way through it. And then there's 4 items behind it up here. There are 2 other synergy that are technically required to get through this dungeon, but we have a nice little clip that we can do to get past one of those requirements. Oh joy. There's our 3rd prong piece.
And I have
And
burst,
then-
so...
Yeah. That's a shirt that he just picked up. It's called the Herbed shirt. It is not an actual item in the vanilla game, but they had it left in the game, and we have added it to the randomizer as just a shirt. It's just you smell good now.
Yeah. The stats were okay, so I equipped it.
Yep.
I have 2 more items I can get. I could get a gin too, but if the 2 items are not really interesting, I will skip the gin. But I should get some progression now, or I will have to go back to the location I did not do yet. Okay, so it's time to backtrack and do stuff I did not do. I have some here, some here. Let's go grab a hint before anything.
Yeah.
Well,
Needed backtracking. That dungeon that we mentioned, Ayers Rock, it has a lot of checks in it, but it just takes a long time to go through all the dungeons, so kind of putting that off to see if we can find the progression somewhere else.
it's around 12 minutes long to get everything, so...
Yep.
But here in Kandorian Temple, it's basically 1 to 2 minutes to get, well, to check 3 items. I will need to come back with a synergy I don't have to get the gene inside. But getting to the gene is not the hard part.
Yep. You also can go to Lemuria as well.
Yes, that will be my next location.
Speaking of
We'll also
donations,
do
guys,
the-
got a second for a quick donation?
Yes, we have.
All right, we got a $111 donation from Sprockets Dance this Sunday. Hype! With that generous donation, we've met the Defeat All Dragons incentive for the Mystic Quest Cross Worlds Collide Randomizer AP race later today. And the rest of that money went towards Don't Save Fritz for the Chrono Trigger Jets of Time incentive. So, Chad, if you want to save Fritz, make sure you get those donations in before that run, and make sure you put them towards that incentive.
Well, here we have one of the best summon in the game. So, and we can't use it. Well,
I missed what that hint was. What was it?
the top of the Shrine of the Sea God has nothing, so it's a double reason not to finish and get
Yeah. That dungeon also does have a boss that we can beat for a boss objective, so we'll go back there later to do that. It is in the vanilla game, it's the very first boss of the game, so they're really easy to beat.
Yeah, basically we just use one attack on each and they die. But well, speaking of bosses, how do we define which bosses give objective or not? Is basically every boss is a boss objective except for Briggs, because most of the settings we use allow us to just get to him for free. We don't need any synergy, we don't need anything to get to him. While the chest beaters or King Scorpion that are earlier boss than him in the vanilla game require synergy to get. Let me do that. That makes 2 entrances from the Poseidon room. And because we don't have that requirement of at least up synergy for Briggs, we just removed it from getting a free objective because it was, well, only 24 objective to do. We always can beat him, while the other could be missed.
There is technically, with another glitch in the settings that we use, a boss that is always objective, which is the Aqua Hydra, but in progression-wise and non-glitch stuff, it does require similar things.
Let's hope I get it the first try. Well, I mean, I just throw it at the correct time to always hit it first try.
Oh.
Well, now that is the best summon in the game.
We found the second best damage-wise, and then we found the best damage-wise. And it also just heals you as well, which is really nice. So,
give me that. Thank you.
Yep. And we have found lots of the types of Jinn that require it to do. So that is a really useful summon. So a lot of times it can be scary to go maybe fight some of the bosses. Okay, well, we already found all 3, so that's too bad.
Yes.
That hint essentially told us that those 3 trident prong pieces that we have found, they don't give us anything. That's okay, though.
Oh, by the way, I forgot I got that objective earlier when I got the hint in procs.
Yep.
So, we have a few locations we can go. Which one is the best? I think it will be time to go for our first boss now. Because earlier we said we could not really defeat him, but now it is time to go through the trial road and go against Moapa.
This is one of the public's choice incentives that you can make Neos suffer through. uh, in this area, you have two different sides of this that you can go up. You're kind of racing Moapa and his henchmen as you go up here in the vanilla game, but we are really fast at going through here. So the left side here. Oh, actually, our name. We mentioned earlier that some of the puzzles are randomized depending on Felix's name. This is one of them. It's there's a set of 8 rooms, and then each side has 4 rooms, and which order and how they're organized depends on Felix's name. We luckily, so far, have gotten 2 of the fastest rooms to go through, which is really nice. But one of the incentives that you can make Neo do is to go through both sides of it. So he has to go through all of the rooms, and some of them are really slow to go through. And some of them we don't do too often, so we pause a little bit and rethink on what we're doing.
Yeah, that one especially because I don't have Frost. If I had Frost, it would have been way faster. Well, since I'm here, let's just grab that one.
If he had Frost, he would normally move this aside and then Frost it from the other side, and he could hop across all 4. But gotta move all those pillars now without it.
Yeah. Oh.
And this is the worst puzzle, especially
Not
with
that
Archbound.
one.
Yeah, this I think that this is the slowest puzzle.
It's the worst one.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to like kind of like hop onto these and go back down and move stuff around, and then you have to move them over so that they don't pop back up. It's a whole thing. Just picking up your vials as well.
Let's see.
Oh, interesting.
Shoot. Here. No, I'm too high. Oh no,
Oh, that was close.
he pushed. Too bad. I got in the... I hoped we could clip through, but no, he pushed the blocks.
Yeah. Normally when you're
the
going,
two worst ones.
normally when you're going through there, you saw those 2 blue chests at the end. In the vanilla game, you have to like go through here and give up some of your items. You have to like put in the chest, and as you're racing Moapa, if you get through the room after Moapa does, it requires you to put in 2 items instead of just 1 item. But Moapa is so slow going through there. You'll be fine. But we don't have to do that at all in the randomizer.
Right here, I will quickly check one item. Oh.
Oh. So get
So
your
I will
donations
have-
in to do the incentive to just go through Trial Road twice, because we have to come back here.
Yeah, and get... Well, the incentive is mostly to get all the items in Trial Road,
Oh,
but
get
we
all the
need to do
okay.
both sides, and I have to come back. So,
Yeah.
if you want me to ally going back here and getting an item and an objective, you have still 25 minutes before we load that, if you want to change it. Because after that we need to first I need to check who is Squire.
Neo was checking the elemental affinity that each of their stuff has, and they start with a base power higher than others, depending on what their elemental affinity is, and Iris is a Venus summon in this seed. So we want whoever is the Squire, which is the Venus aligned, adept
used.
to use it, and they just get a little bit more power out of it. And summon damage. Summons have a base damage that they do, and then they scale based on how much HP an enemy has. Muappa and both of his henchmen have quite a bit of HP, so summons do a lot of damage to them. And then Iris, on top of that, also just has, as we just saw, Neo one turn, one of the hardest bosses.
So, because I beat a boss, I get my objective, my free objective, and I marked it as purple for visibility.
Oh. Interesting.
So I took the reach the top of Shrine of the Sea God because I know I don't want to do that one. Sadly for me, that Pretty Stone is not really progression. And I have 2 dungeons I can go through. I mean, let's stop pushing back the inevitable and let's go to Where's Rock.
Yeah.
Basically, I know that I need to find one synergy. Any synergy I can find will unlock stuff. And of course,
And it's
here.
right there. At least it's right at the beginning, so
Yeah,
Neo has a choice here.
I will go a bit further in just so I can see one more item, and I will get, well, 2 more items.
He's going to do one of our fun retreat glitch save and quits here, and it's going to put him back on the map. And when he does this, he mentioned it when he was picking up the Jin and Ateka inlet as well. It kind of moves all of the actors on the map around. So there was some like that first pillar or like a rock that you saw in Whirlwind. It removes all of those, so he could just walk through here. The unfortunate side effect of doing it on this map is that there are a bunch of whirlwinds happening on the screen, so it really lags and slows down the game. It's these whirlwinds going across the screen. There's just a bunch of them that get added on that first screen, and it slows it all down.
Right. That way. One thing I will do is open that shortcut
Yeah, that's a
because
good
I
idea.
will only get pound and continue through using the synergy I will have. Opens a few things. It opens a boss, by the way.
Pound is definitely one of the most useful synergy to find.
If you're asking yourself, but why is he going the other way? As we said earlier, retreat glitch allows us to get items, to move actors in memory and effects. And each item on the map has a specific actor number. So here, that big vertical screen I'm in is in the same part as the one before it. And if I use retreat glitch and get that item, instead I get a pound that was on the previous screen. On the first screen. So that way I can just get my synergy and move around from that.
Yeah, otherwise, to get pound, he would have had to walk all the way around and do a couple of whirlwinds, and it takes a lot of time, so it's faster on top of just getting to see that other item.
Sadly for me, I saw where Cyclone was. So I need to reveal. What I will be doing here is get 2 pound item and hope that reveal is one of those, because Cyclone opens quite a few things and unlock a few objectives for me. And I really need it. But burst that I got behind Cyclone gets me progression that I could do right now thanks to Pound. But if I start to ignore the logic and go after those burst items,
That is also useful.
that is really useful. Because it gives me quite a few objectives.
That is the Synergy Lash. So we've passed by a few of them. There's some like ropes coiled on the ground or around a metal stake. If you use Lash on that, it will attach it and then you can climb on that rope. We've seen two useful things, I think, from it. This first one that he's going to is to get Scoop.
Straight for Scoop, and
Oh,
then I have a
two
few...
objectives. These two.
I have a few objectives that are behind that also.
Scoop also can help us towards, if we find Cyclone, we can pretty much just do these 3 different hidden ladders objectives. Scoop allows us to also get one of those.
We have 2 of those with Scoop.
Oh yes, 2 of them. Yep.
Oh no, I can do the 3 ladders. I have a third one. I almost forgot it. I can do the one here in Kibombo, the one in Yompi Desert, and the one in Oceania Cavern.
Oh yeah. Wow. I always forget about the Oceania Cavern one.
I think with Scoop we even get 4. We have one in Mikasara, if I remember.
Oh, yep.
So,
Scoop is the good one to get.
but here we will get Frost.
I was kind of hoping you missed that Scoop. Then we could talk about it.
Oh.
You can also do this objective here. This force tiles or blocks to pop out of the ground objective. There's only 2 locations that can be done, and the end of this dungeon is one of them.
Okay. So right now we'll pick at...
That synergy that he peeked at there is called Douse, which on top of this last synergy that he's going for here, Frost, and we also have Parch, which helps out a lot. Douse opens up a dungeon called Aqua Rock, and with both Frost and Parch, Neo can get everything in that dungeon except for one thing, which he could also technically get, actually, if he goes to get the Aquarius Stone.
It's not the puzzle I'm used to.
Oh, yep. This is the, we talk about the, I'll let him think here.
If I go that way... for that puzzle, we need to ensure that both lights hit the center part at the same time. And right now, I'm not sure if I'm going for the correct answer.
We might get to see one of the...
No, that's a wrong direction.
This
That one gets here. That one needs to. Because I
uh,
missed the top right one. I
top
think I
right one.
missed the direction.
Yeah. The fastest way to put in Felix's name to give you so we talked about Felix's name changing puzzles. The growth maze was one, trial road shuffles around the rooms, and then this is the last one. It changes which blocks are in which area to solve this puzzle. Normally, you only have to pound in 2 blocks, but this one you have to pound in all of them, which is kind of crazy.
I got it first try.
There's some funny cutscenes that can play if you fail the puzzle, but got on
Yeah,
for sure.
you really need because you have multiple ways to have the light hit the center most puzzle, but you need both light to hit at the same time if you want anything to
Yep.
work. Else, let's just say that the statue is not happy.
Yeah, there's not too many available combinations to do one of the failures, which is that both of them do hit the center, but not at the same time. And then it just gives you a funny cutscene with like the statue like spitting out fire or ice or being angry at Akafubu, but got it first try. Got our douse. We're gonna go pick up Frost now, and we're going to be able to talk to our second to last hint.
Yes, I still need reveal for the last hint.
Yep.
Not like we knew that.
Yeah.
But I think with the bosses I can do, I may be in go mode right now.
So Neo has access to Aqua Hydra, Avimander, Poseidon,
And chest beaters.
and Chest Beater. So he has 4 boss objectives that he can use for spots on the board, and some of them are blocked by not having Cyclone, which would be this collect 3 vanilla mints that is blocked by Cyclone.
Yes. So
And then
I will
yeah,
need
and then we don't have
someone
this.
to.
You did this objective right here.
I will need someone to tell me what is the final public's choice. That way I can route it and maybe suffer through it.
Do we know what the public choice incentive is?
During that time, I will go for that gin in the Shaman Village cave. Normally, we need to lift those 2 boulders on the bottom of the screen, but if we just look at it, they won't move and we can fight it. Here we get our objective.
You also got row 4, column 4.
Oh, right because of the. So now let's go to Cult Island, get our first bingo.
Yep.
And slash and drop. That makes our first bingo the first out of 12.
Time for a quick donation.
Yes.
We have $35 from Classic Gamer 76 that says, "What do Sid and the Hooray Dwarf have in common? They should both be put out of the misery." This is towards putting Sid out of his misery in Final Fantasy VI.
We also have the Golden Sun incentive.
1 second, we'll check on that.
Like, Neo's headed up to a dungeon called Yampy Desert Cave. This is your second view of going up diagonally on sand falls. It is faster. This is one of the sort of like post-game dungeons, optional to go through. But we've got a djinn in here to befriend.
All right, so it looks like incentive-wise, the Go Back to Vale is still in the lead for the Force Square Bid War, if that's the incentive you were referencing.
Yes.
Yep.
So we will go to Vale.
Fun. That's a good one.
And I found out that easier way to go through there existed that recently, so
Oh, nice.
I will be able to show it.
That is a summon there that he's not going to pick up. It's called Magira. It's a pretty cool summon, but we have Iris, so we don't.
Iris was 8 and 5.
And 5 Jupiter. Yeah.
To get this, because since I will be going for the Jinn and we are quite underestimate, I will do one try at the super boss here.
This super boss that he's going to go and give a taste of is called Valukar. Each of the super bosses has a sort of gimmick to them. Valukar, normally you are the only one that has access to your summons. Valukar has access to your summons, so he has a couple of moves where he can put your Jinn on standby, which allows you to use them for summons, and then he will use a summon on top of that. As long as Neo outspeeds or stops Valukar's action with ground, which you just saw him set there, then Neo can make sure that he can do the summon instead. So give it a try there. It can be a little tricky to manage your Jinn in a way where you can still summon and Valukar can't, but give it a whirl.
By the way, I can even Geode ready. Well, I do all the setup, but I have to do the Jinn outside first, but
Okay, Neo's showing off one of the tricks that we didn't get to see earlier, really. the Synergy Burst, the way that it's coded is it only checks the X and Y coordinates of Felix and where he's bursting. So you can be below a pillar that's burstable on your Z coordinate, and the burst will still activate on the pillar. So you showed that off there.
Ah, I forgot that we need to, because we have two ways to open the synergy menu, either by pressing A or select. And here I forgot to press select, and I pressed A and interacted with the Jin instead of trying to use the synergy to show him.
Question mark? And then what Neo was talking about is the okay, well that was nice. If he had kept the Jin set, both at least Felix would be doing a bit more damage here, but we'll just get through it. And
Yeah,
Jenna and Piers aren't really contributing a whole lot.
they're mostly here to use their Jin and
Yep.
soak some damage for me.
Yep. I was really hoping that was going to be Petra, but it's okay.
Yeah, but don't I? No, I don't. In the reading case. Oh, get wish. So I will go once again try to do one of those pillar clips I tried to do earlier. That one being here.
Oh, nice first
Got
try.
it first try. And let's see, do we... So here is value card, one of the super bosses we can fight. Kinder, one, go with Corona. Geode, you will summon Paris, and you will use Ground.
So super bosses, I mean, they're bosses, so they count as objective squares, but they are time-consuming and potentially not. He was even slower than the second one. The other thing that a lot of the super bosses have is they have more than one action. The way that agility works in this game for those two actions is they will have their base agility, that will be their first action, and then they will take half of that, and then that will be their second action. And Piers is apparently really slow, so he is slower than half of Valukar's
No.
agility there. That's unfortunate.
No. Well,
Luckily though, Mr. Sid here is ducked out and only takes 1 damage with his high
Yeah.
defense, but that Jin, oh, I actually missed it, Jin Storm, there that Valikar is using is, or Jin Stun, is putting a bunch of Jin on standby, which means that summons are available, which means that Valucar can use it. One of the nice things that Neo was able to do there, though, is he got Moloch to, and this is a really nice usage of Moloch, is it halves the agility of Valucar, so then at least Felix and Jenna can outspeed Valucar. I think Piers is still going to be slower. Yeah, well, luckily he didn't use Moloch on you, but
that is... Oh, that is bad.
yeah, I think Garrett's gonna. Okay, Garrett has one more turn. Stun and other status effects like sleep.
No.
stuns or status effects like stuns, they have a max limit of turns. This should be the last turn that Garrett is stunned, so he will come off of it. But they also just have a chance to come out of stun on other earlier turns. So it wasn't Garrett's last turn, but Felix was able to get out of it.
How many do I need for? Could try him. No, I'm still faster than him. So...
Piers is slower, so you could try with Piers.
Let's try and hope.
Yeah, Neo is just planning on Valukar using Jin Stun to set or stand by a Mercury Jin. Oh, he took the Thema instead. Luckily for us, these lower... Oh, there he did it on the other one. That's unfortunate, but... luckily for us, Oh, I thought, man, stun must last way longer than I thought. Luckily for us, these lower summons, like Tiamat, they're very nice. Their base damage is pretty low, and because they scale off of HP, they don't actually do a lot to us, so we're able to survive through those.
Yeah, the one summon I was really fearful of him using was Iris at the beginning of the fight, which is why I used Ground to stop him.
Yep. As far as super bosses go, Valukar is one of he's a little tricky with the Jin stun and summons, but if you can manage that, he's pretty easy if you have a good defense.
Yeah. While I'm here, I will go do a second boss in the same region.
Yep. We're gonna go from a super boss to a second boss in the vanilla game, so this is going to go very quickly.
Yeah, that's not the same level of pressure.
Yeah.
And the third boss I will go for is Poseidon after going for the third room for it.
Ah, yeah.
And that will be it for my bosses. Oh no, I need one more because of the Curse the Wall at the top of Tendaria. Almost forgot that one.
Yeah. You have two choices.
I have
Plenty.
most bosses I may need, so
Yeah.
I could even try to set up for a No Light Serpent if we have time. We will see on the time when we get there, because we still have oh, by the way, I did that one. We still have a few objectives to do. They take a bit of time, not a lot, but we have to go through.
Yep.
So here we have to use Pound to get those pillars down and direct the King Scorpion to the correct location. The only screen we really need to pay attention is the second one, because it can be fully locked in place. So we need to wait for a bit of time. Oh, of course he's defending.
It's really annoying when King Scorpion defends.
Yeah.
I think Valukar has something like 4,000 HP. No, 4D 1,000 HP. So a high number of HP. King Scorpion has something like 900.
Yeah.
Goes a lot faster.
Let's start by getting our manga fight here.
Yep.
Well, the second one will be next to Tandaria. Of course, we need to get the fight, and enemies tend to not like being killed, so
Yeah.
when we look for them, it takes time. So, those Niederländer encounter, when we want them, we never get them. When we don't want them, we
exactly.
always get them.
Yep. But a time when we would want them is to get poisoned, and then there's a glitch that we can do while being poisoned, but we don't need it this seed. And of course, we're just finding a bunch of them instead of the Momongas.
3 fight in a row with
Funnily enough, too, the squirrel fangs, the Momanga line that we find here, they are one of the more common enemies that we find here. There's three total different types of enemies that you can find in this location, and we're only finding one of them.
Yeah. Oh,
There we
finally,
go.
the squirrel found.
Nice 36 damage, Jenna. And Piers.
Participation prize.
Yep.
And that was the Momonga line.
We're apparently just leaving row 3, the middle, just blank for now.
Yeah, we can do it later.
So this one, we're going to go back. We already came into the Kandorian Temple, but this gives us the Jinn, and we can beat the chest beaters here as another boss.
First, we'll go get the Djinn. So normally the Djinn is at the end of the dungeon, but as we did earlier, we can go through that first room and then use the retreat glitch to get put in the same room but from the other side, allowing us to quickly get to the Djinn.
Time for some quick donations.
Yes.
All right, we got a $10 donation from Ale, just that says "Final Day Hype." Here's $10 to use Liam as the name for the Soul Blazer bid war, which that is our first name on the board. So, folks, if you want to get in that character name, you have until the end of this run to get those names in before that is closed. So. Get those in now, and we have a $20 donation from Classic Gamer 76 that says this is to try to convince the runners to take 4 Forced and fight Warmech in the mini tournament finals, and that is coming up later on in the marathon around 6 p.m. So, folks, if you want to join those incentives, please get those donations in. Make sure you put your donations towards those incentives.
So right now we are getting closer to the end, but here normally we need to use the power of the mind to move that final trial, but we just use move as always. And here is the first boss of the game, so
And
it's
hoping
rare
it
to
uses
survive a
nerve.
turn.
Yeah. A solid 300 experience.
And we will use that to burst the wall at the top of Tandaria. Climb a vine made with straws. I think the fastest one is in Shaman Village. And seeing we are a bit underestimate, I will probably try that no light serpent I talked
No
about.
light serpent. Yeah.
Because we have the time, and that is a nice fight to get if we can get it in a single turn.
Yeah. We get to suffer going through the growth maze without knowing what the solution is.
Yes. Also, we don't have to do that, so that's great. And that will allow us to show at the maze itself.
Yeah.
But first, since we will have to go to Vale, let's do that force in and
Yeah.
I always forget that. I always forget that that is the wrong exit. Okay. We have a few things we can do, but I think it's funnier to go. Well, normally, we need to learn a nice children's song that you did not force me to go through today to learn how to get through the next screen I will be going. And that song guides us from the star to the moon to from the moon to the star to the sun. But here we will mostly try to ignore most of it. And I'll take a second to see if I can do it without saving.
These whirlpools be a little bit tricky to get sometimes because it kind of like pulls you
Yeah.
in.
Here, we got that one. So after that,
But
we get, like the children's song tells us, we get to the star. Here, we are next to the star. And normally we should go to the moon, but we don't really need to get to the moon. We can skip it. So let's see if I get it first try. If not, I will do it with a save. Because here I skipped like few part of the thing. That one I will save because I need to circle 3 times here, and normally I should be going to the bottom to get to the moon. But I can just skip it and get to the final part of the puzzle here, which is the final one, skipping a bit of time in that room. Oh, I was too slow. here we go. Enter Poseidon room from all 3 entrances. Um, now we could fight Poseidon and go for our last non unlocked objective. Oh, we have an issue with the video setup.
Yeah, my Discord crashed.
Oh. Oh. Let's go through here into the cave in Gondolin Cliffs. I'm just curious, where would that put me at the beginning? We rarely go to that one, so
Yeah.
let's go through hidden ladders now. I already did one in
Come on.
Kibombo. I will get one here, and I think the last one I will get is the one in Mikasara.
Oh, we passed through Yampi, but yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to.
Yeah, I forgot about it as well.
Time for a quick donation.
That's normally...
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry. We got a $15 donation from Just Chris that says, for the Soul Blazer character name, Water Sword, because there's still time to change the final tower sword, right? Right?
Normally that item that Neo saw when he scoops to go down that ladder would be something that you get, but we don't need that. We can complete all of the rest of the objectives here.
So right now we just have one objective left that we will be using a boss on, and since we have the time for that, if I wanted to, I could go for some bosses that I'm unsure to defeat. But let's go and see what I left in that maze, and
We're gonna
see
guess
if we
reveal.
can get the boss item, the boss without actually doing the puzzles for it.
Normally in this dungeon, we do have the item. It's called the Dancing Idol that would kind of like move faces around here, but we don't have Cyclone because it's behind Reveal, so we weren't able to get it. And that would open up little peek holes into this dungeon that shines a light down into essentially somebody is in this last room trying to poison this serpent boss. The light helps weaken the boss, and it actually has a mechanical effect, is that it reduces the number of turns that the boss takes. It reduces the amount of HP that he regenerates per turn. It reduces his health, and it makes him a little bit less smart about his move choice. But when we don't do any of that, if you don't defeat him on a single turn, he just generally regenerates all of his HP, and you can't keep up with that. So you'd have to try to do it in one turn. We've got Iris, we've got Charon, we've got some other summons, so I didn't see if you had Kite with Daedalus. I know you like doing that, but
Yeah, I could check if I have Kite. I think that one. Oh, well, that one should be up. Yeah. Who do I have? Chain-wise, I don't have Kai,
Don't have
so
Kai.
that will be a bit hard. You know what? I will do one save here. Take a look at the summon I can do, and then reset depending on what I can. I can do Iris, Eclipse, and I need 2 fire and okay. I can remove 4. I can remove 4 Venus to put 2 Mars and 2 Jupiter on my team. So let's.
Oh, one short.
Sure, that's sad. Let's see if I can get something out of that deal.
What we're hoping for here as well is that Serpent is weak to Venus.
Okay, I need now to check the water, wind, earth, water. So water. I hope wind. Earth. Let's see how it goes. If I get the 1 turn kill, that would be good.
As long as he's not resistant to Iris, he might have a
Yeah.
good chance. Okay, he's not resistant to Iris.
He's not resistant to Iris, so.
All bosses are generally weak to A.
Oh, use Cure Well.
They're generally weak to A type. Nice.
Well,
and
that was a one turn serpent. Iris really makes it easy. Without Iris, I would not have tried.
and a nice miss potion for our trouble.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a nice.
So we are
last
getting
boss to
close
do.
to the end. We need to get to Veil to finish. Even with doing those bosses, it ended up being faster. So what could we say? No. Well, there is a lot we can do in the game, really. We have some work in progress for entrance Rando and different things. One of the way we could get to Veil is basically by going here. No, not that one. That one here, and do a clip. I will take a little bit of time just to show off some clips. Here, I could get that clip here. We need to do the same settings as every other clip, but there is one that is way faster. Is because we can fly, we can actually move here, go south, and look at those trees, and just get down.
Oh, nice. It is actually very close, that mountain and that edge there, to be able to have Felix just kind of like wiggle and get through there, which in the normal speed run of this game would be kind of crazy if we could do that. It's so close.
Yeah, here we are on the first map. I will show a bit around, but it's the map of the first game. We have nothing appearing anywhere because, well, they did not take into account us being able to go here.
Yeah.
Looking by the story, we are kind of fugitive because the second party we are part of kind of kidnapped someone, and so at multiple points in the story, yeah, you should not be going back in that part of the world.
Yep.
And here is the city of Vale, and we can't enter.
But we returned.
Return to Vale, which is our time.
Very nice.
Yeah. It went quite a bit faster than intended.
Oh, it was good. It could have, with Whirlwind being so early, it could have taken a lot longer.
Yeah.
GG's on the quick sub-estimate finish. Do y'all have any final shout-outs that you want to get in?
Well, I mostly want to give a shout out to the full Golden Sun 2 community. Well, mostly the Randomizer community, but the full Golden Sun community is also a great group of persons. Really, lots of fun having them, lots of fun when I met them in person last summer. Really, I want to shout out to Karanam that worked a lot on the Randomizer. And also I want to thank you for letting me showcase this. I really try most of the randomizer I play, I try to showcase them because it shows that we have tons of randomizer, not only the one game that one people know or that everyone knows. There's game for everyone, and event like this marathon also help, while helping people with the donation and everything, it also helps showing people that a lot of things exist and they can enjoy playing games that most of those games are games you played in your childhood and they're not dead. We can still play those games, enjoy them. Even if it's not exactly the same as before, we can have fun with that. Really, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Shout out to Neo for doing the run. Did a great run here. Come join us at the Golden Sun Speedrun Community Discord. Jump in the randomizer. Like Neo said, we're working on an entrance randomizer as well for it, and there will be lots of help in the Discord. And we actually have like Archipelago compatibility as well. You can go check it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. And again, chat, let's see some shout outs for that amazing run of Golden Sun. We are going to go ahead and take a few minutes here and get set up for our next run of Soul Blazer. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. While we get set up for this next run, I do want to go ahead and remind everybody what we're here. We are here benefiting the Liam Foundation, whose mission is to encourage, assist, heal, and empower our LGBTQIA plus community through respect, advocacy, and passionate hearts to promote thriving in society. We are currently at $7,766 raised for the Liam Foundation. Woo, indeed. Some recent work that is ongoing for them. They have opened up a secondhand Pride boutique for gender-affirming clothing and hygiene items, and they've also developed the Rainbow Guide to connect the LGBTQIA plus community with ally businesses and organizations. And a little reminder for chat, you have just minutes left until the incentive for naming the Soul Blazer closes. So any last second donations to snipe that incentive, please get those in now. Time is ticking.